Good morning, everybody. I have a guest. Miss Traci is here. And Miss Traci Buckingham has taught school in Pickens County for over 100 years.
I taught for 30 years and then I retired.
That's right. And when you retired, you found that that was not your cup of tea. You wanted to stay busy, so you rounded up the best of the best.
I did. I have the best of the best hanging with me.
That's right. That's right. No slacker here. No slacker here. Will you introduce these kids?
Yes. These are all members of the 21st Century Leaders Club. And today representing our club is Sheila Flores, Sarahi Flores, and in the back we have Reese Davis and Sofia Scott.
And who is this?
This is Micah. Micah, we miss you.
Micah's the cute blonde that all the girls were waiting to see. You know, everybody who watches all the teenage girls are like, "Where's Micah?" You know, he was here last time.
Please don't tell Micah this.
Yeah, Micah do his head.
Yeah. Now Micah is doing something else.
Yes, he's on vacation visiting his grandparents this week.
And this is his grandma's. We're gonna gift it to her.
Yes,
because
she will love it.
He said she is a bigger Trump fan than me, which is, I don't know how you could be, but so we are gonna do that, and so Trumpy, and for the people who gifted it to me, I have loved every single minute of it. But when he told me the story about his grandmother, I said we gotta give her this bear. so we're going to, yeah, and I think it's appropriate.
Awesome.
I think it's
I
appropriate.
think Beth will love it.
There you go. Okay, Traci, tell me a little bit about what's going on with the girls.
Okay, so we have this club. It's called 21st Century Leaders, and it is a big group out of Georgia, but most of the groups are in the Atlanta area. And I saw all the advantages they were getting, and I'm like, wait, we got some great kids up in the North Georgia mountains. We need to give them the same advantages everyone else has. So I called and found out how to start a club of my own and talked to the people, and I said, look, being in the school is not going to be good for me because of the amount of germs, because with the kidney transplant, I have to watch that.
And for people who don't know, literally you are a walking miracle.
Well, that's the truth.
Yeah,
God got me through. He put the right person in the right place, and it was wonderful.
Yeah. So that's your way of taking God's work and giving it away and away and away and away. So you keep giving God's work.
God didn't save me to sit at home.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
That's how I think about it. And I know school for me is a dangerous place because of germs. So I love kids, especially this group, because I've worked through another organization with them for years. And some of them I taught. Some of them I was there almost when they took their first steps. So I wanted to be sure to do something great for them. Now, 21, we're going to call it 21CL. Everybody does because it's shorter.
Right.
21CL has two basic principles. The first is let's prepare our students for post-graduation. College, career, whatever. Let's make them the best they can be with the skills they need to compete against those kids in Atlanta.
Right.
Number two is let's develop kids we want to return to our community that love our community.
Yeah.
So we have a huge component that's community service, and since that's where my heart is, we do a lot of community service. And I challenge them every time to come up with a project on their own, and you're going to hear about some of those today. If we could look at a few pictures, I have some pictures that I want to share.
Trace, we got the pictures. Yay, we got the pictures. Welcome to live TV.
We have pictures.
We got the pictures coming on.
Those
Where are the pictures?
Photos.
Yeah, there. Where are the pictures? He gave us pictures of us. Yeah.
Micah, is it us? Is it us?
There you go.
Okay. This is for Sheila to share. So, Sheila, tell a little bit. Now, Sheila was on here, if you remember, about her backpack project.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so These pictures consist of me going out and actually speaking to groups. The first picture consisted of me going to the technical college over in Jasper. And then here I went to my local elementary school at Hill City, and I went and taught them about storm safety and what they needed to grab just in case they needed to evacuate to go on the go. So that was really exciting for me, and this project actually really taught me a lot. It taught me that being hands-on is better, being able to spread the word. And when I first came on your show back in January, maybe?
Wow.
A long time ago, not so long ago, but at first that idea was just a train of thought, that it was just hoping to go. And then eventually the idea became so much more, and I got the word out to over 20,000 people and led over 200 people actually hands-on in my project and delivered over 50 backpacks. So
That's awesome.
I impacted over 50 people and influenced over 20,000, which I think is crazy to me in just the span of a couple months.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think this is really privileged to me with the help of Miss Traci as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And that's one of the things. Now, you talked about preparing for, you know that Hill City is in Tornado Alley. So there are times that people have to prepare to leave their home quickly. And if a storm comes up, you know, if you have to go somewhere and hide, you never know. Do you remember this storm that came through Jerusalem?
Yes.
And destroyed, like 12 family members passed away. And so that's another thing you can work on preparing, because we do live in Tornado Alley. And it's crazy because you don't think about that. If you're building your home, you don't think about a shelter, because you're like, a bomb shelter? No, a tornado shelter. A tornado shelter. But preparation.
And especially with our elderly, it's so major because a lot of them actually don't have places to go
Right.
or people to go to in the first place. So being able to help them was just a privilege to me, and being able to help in my community was something so big and so major to me that it just made me realize that I would want to actually help people when I'm older as well as a future
I'm dying
career.
with this. We've got to see why she has it.
Well, she was.
These used to be 2 for 99 cents at Super D in Jasper, y'all. I'm telling you. Now what's that picture?
So that picture was me. I actually got to get out of school to go there, but it was really exciting. So I went to the Amicalola Garden Club, and there I went and spoke about my project. I went around the room and met every lady in there. Very beautiful women, very kind as well. And I got to speak to them about my project, and I asked them to donate money towards my project so that way I could fund the backpacks and be able to distribute them. So I had a lot of fun that day.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, we need to invite you to the Ball Ground Garden Club, because not to say that theirs isn't a big garden club, ours is bigger. So we have more members, so we need to get you down there.
So this picture consists of me going to down to Savannah. So due to my project, I actually ended up receiving the ACCG, which is the County Commissioners of Georgia Youth Leadership Award for my project.
That's awesome.
So each year, like annually, they'll select someone who finds a need in their community and discovers a project and actually goes in and influences and makes an impact. So this year I had the great opportunity to go down and receive the award for that and meet lots of new people. Everyone was so nice. It was so exciting and great food. I'm not gonna
That's
lie.
cool. That's cool. That's cool. Now, Miss
you.
Traci, let me ask you about something. I'm going to put you on the spot. Did you not teach these children to speak English?
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. And they speak fluent. They're much better than me. I wish you'd have been my teacher. Now, what is this one?
So this is actually me in Hill City again, and this little girl's actually my cousin. She's a part of my family, so I got the opportunity to teach her about storm safety, and here we were writing cards to put in the backpacks actually. So just in case, in a moment of sadness, there was a little hope there and a little bit of kindness, just a little like ray of sunshine, I would say, in a storm of darkness.
That's right.
For the elderly, just in case they needed something to be
That's
happy
so
and
cool.
look forward to.
That's so cool. And
That was a lot of fun.
there you go. Now, whose is that?
That's the 21st Century Leaders, and they're also making cards. It is an effort to show that Sheila not only taught the little ones, but she taught all age groups. That's how she got people her own age involved as well.
That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay. What's
And
that one?
then here is when I went to the Lions Club. This was probably one of my funnest days, I would say, by far. So that day we went and assembled the backpacks, and what we did is I put everything around the tables so that way we could just go in an even rotation. and then fill the bags up with like different foods. So for the non-perishables, it would be like the Spam, the silverware, and everything else. And there was a lot in there, and then we eventually placed all of those in a backpack eventually afterwards. So I also went individually and helped people around just in case, because it was more of a me-led project, so that way it'd be easier for me to lead everybody through so it would go quickly and smoothly. And it really was smooth. It was a lot of fun.
Cool. That's cool.
And you'll see there that one of the gentlemen there is from the developmentally disabled home.
I could see that.
And I think there's another picture of one of the guys helping as well. So, Sheila, it was really funny. I said, oh, will you be all right if the guys help? They really want to help. And she said, why not? Everybody can help.
Yeah.
Okay, tell them about this one, Sheila.
So here's another day, but this was at our 4-H County Extension office. So this day, I went over, this was after like a county council meeting, I believe, and I was having everybody help me assemble my backpacks here. After I put all the non-perishables in, I was putting in the thermal blankets and the emergency contact information, which is for them to fill out on their own, the gloves, the beanies, and the water bottles as well, if I'm not mistaken. So most of the little younger kids helped me with that.
Right. And
then here, I taught my co-century leaders, my SNS board, my Safe and Secure board, about my project. And after bingo, I had them all go up, explain my project to the elderly senior citizens, and if they wanted to sign up for a free backpack, they were eligible to. All they had to do was sign their name on the clipboard, and they were ready to go. So that's actually my sister there teaching them about my project.
And I think there might be a picture of Micah next. I'm not sure.
Let me just...
No, we got backpacks.
There's
Sorry,
the backpack.
Micah.
There's one of the many backpacks that was distributed throughout the whole process. So that's what they looked like.
And there were a lot. My
Yeah.
car, for the first trip, my car was full in the front and the back. And here they are signing up.
yeah.
Let me just say, they did not play about that.
No. So what actually happened this day, it was actually a really funny story. So we only had around 2 or 3 out of the 12 participants who were actually signed up who were supposed to be there, because we were doing half a load at a time, so that way it'd be like a whole lot smoother process. But what happened was that we only had 2 or 3 people that were actually there, which is really unfortunate. And then as soon as we were done, everybody was like, well, where's my backpack? I signed up for a backpack, knowing they really didn't individually sign up for a backpack.
Yeah.
We know how some people can be sometimes when they don't get something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I came up with the idea. I was like, hey, we can just give these people a backpack because we have more. We have more. And it gives me the opportunity to help more people. So why not just distribute, let them sign up, and let them fill out their contact information so everybody gets an equal
There you go.
opportunity.
There you go. There you go. That is so cool. That is so cool. That is so cool.
And she did it with both the Senior Citizen Center and the Meals on Wheels program as well.
You know, when you think about it, today in America, a lot of people are looking for a meal. So that Meals on Wheels is so important, and you do put food in there. I know that lady. Yeah. Wow.
Here I was teaching her what was in the backpack, what she could fill out. If she had a cell phone, if she could put it in the bag so she wouldn't forget. The non-perishables, I was telling her how it was lightweight. She was able to carry it, so everything was good.
There you go.
I think that's the last picture you have in your folder. So let's go to the second part. Remember, we said that 21st century leaders had 2 parts to develop their kindness and understanding of what people in our community need. And the other thing is to develop as a good leader, a competitive person. Right now, in the business world, STEM is everywhere. And for those viewers who might not know, that's science, technology, engineering, and math. And so we have the science whiz kids here.
Take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
So one of the things they're challenged to do is you get information, and it's no good if you don't share it. So we're going to let Sheila share a typical lesson that she would do for younger kids?
Most definitely what I would do with younger kids, I've learned definitely involving, the project. What I would do with younger kids is I would do something that's hands-on. Because kids learn better hands-on. Most can either be visual,
I'm dying to just spray
intellectual.
this all over y'all.
She'll let you-
my kid is coming out in me.
So today my lesson is going to be a storm cloud and a jar. And my lesson consists of 3/4 of a cup of water, some shaving cream.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm going to put
2
on
for
that.
99 cents at Super D. You know what that thing costs now?
Yes,
Probably
I
$2.49.
I bought it this morning. It was over $2.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then and then some blue dye for our rain.
Okay.
So our shaving foam is going to be our storm cloud. And if you want, I'm going to let you put it in there.
You are. Oh gosh. You
Don't-
want? And how
Don't
much
go
of it?
crazy with
Don't go
it.
crazy. Don't
How
put
much?
too much. I would say just fill it up to about here.
That's-
There we go.
Is that cool?
So
It still
next,
smells like it always did.
And what does the water represent?
so our water represents the air. So this is going to be our rain, and it might take us just a second. But while I'm dropping this in,
Okay, so a cloud, rain, and the water below.
And
Okay.
this is supposed to be air,
Okay.
even though it's water.
Right.
So
And
you
then-
see what's happening?
the cloud gets too heavy that the rain is going to fall down, and it's going to start raining.
And isn't it weird? That's kind of like life. Sometimes it gets too heavy, doesn't it? Look at that. Blue. Okay.
And the kids love seeing that
Yeah.
because it's an easy way for them to understand. I know my daddy used to tell me, and you know my daddy,
Yes.
going down the road, he would say, you see that dark cloud up there? It's full of water.
Uh-huh.
What a great way for kids to see
Yeah.
it's full of water.
It is
and
full
when
of-
it gets heavy,
It
it
goes
comes
down.
down.
It goes down. That is awesome.
Let's hope this
That
doesn't
is
go
awesome. I love that.
I'm
Now,
going to save the clothes. This
Can
for
I
later.
tell them that I had a 23 average in biology and science. I hated science and I hated biology. I loved home ec. So give me a recipe and I'm with you. And I got to tell something about her precious daddy. Her precious daddy always had a wonderful garden, and I would show up at work and there would be a bag of collards or turnip greens hanging on my door at work. So your precious daddy, every time I chop and cut collards and turnips and I just yeah. What somebody that's what we need to teach the children, to garden. Can any of y'all garden? Can you plant a garden? Yeah, to me.
I can plant a couple seeds.
Yeah, well,
If you want me to be honest
to
with
me, you know, you've planted a seed. You planted a seed with all of them, and you're watching them grow. You're watching them grow. So
Yeah, keep growing, girls.
keep growing, girl.
She's taking us from the ground up.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Okay, who's next?
Sarahi.
All right. So, just a little over 3 weeks ago now, I'm pretty sure, I got the opportunity to go to a summer youth-led institute called Sheila. And basically, I got to go to Emory.
I've
business
been
school.
following her. She didn't know it. I've been
And
watching.
and let me tell you,
She knows
it
you,
was
you don't
like
know
the
her.
best experience of my life, because the last time I went to a 21CL institute, or not institute, sorry, summit, a day summit, I knew that all the kids were like really, really smart and really genius. Some of these kids like came from like Kenya to be there, and they had like these huge like businesses that they already owned, and I was like, okay, like I'm not like these kids, but I want to be. So I signed up for this program, Sheila, and I was like, you know, like I want to go into pre-med, like I'll do the healthcare institute next year, which one of our friends, Sky, is at right now. I can't wait to ask her all about it. But I signed up, I had to do an interview. The interview was honestly not as tough as I thought it was going to be, but it went great apparently since I got in. And when I went, like I prepared for the worst. Like I came in like ready to like compete with a bunch of other kids, but that is not what happened at all. Like, to break it down, day one, was like icebreakers, getting to know everybody. We got to work with Inside Global. They presented our project, and basically our project was to find a solution for employees who wouldn't open their emails. So we just tried to get them to open them.
And to be truthful, they thought that was the craziest thing that a company would have a problem with. And I said, no, this is real life.
This is real, yeah.
Real
yeah,
life.
Yeah.
Now, there's some pictures that might help you as you're talking about all of these things in your folder as well. But
There
go
you
ahead
go.
and get started.
Okay.
Okay, that is me at the
that's
GSU,
it.
at Emory. Emory Summit. That's when I knew, like, I really, really wanted to go into business. And that's just me speaking about our fast fashion project. If I can remember the name, I'll bring it up. But I got the, like, speaking role to, like, basically, like, advertise it, like, what we do, and I was the main person speaking in this.
Okay, next.
Next.
And then,
Yeah. The next picture, there you go.
oh, that is me with Eddie Rawlings. I got to do an elevator speech for him, so I was, like, hyping him up. I was his hype girl. And
And what company is that?
oh, I'm here with, that's at Cox Enterprises. And if for the ones who don't know, they fix cars and they auction them off to, like,
Right.
car companies and
And
stuff.
they're
It
like
used to be
art.
Mannheim Auction. And
Yes,
now, yeah,
yes.
Mannheim. Yeah.
That's it.
And it's actually very cool because we got to go to an auction kind of thing. And I did not know cars were so cheap now because you only see them when they're like above 10 grand. And they auction off like a Volkswagen, like a 2017 Volkswagen. It cost $5,000, but you know, like $5,000, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like that's a lot of money. But for a car like that, I was like, only $5,000, and I'm paying 25 grand for the car. Like, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, I got to do an elevator speech for Eddie Rawlings, which
Okay,
is really
next.
cool.
Let's see what's next.
Oh, there's me, and then I'm raising my hand, asking questions at Cox Enterprises. I think this was like the point, like where we're like getting introduced to everything, like getting our like schedules,
And
meeting
Sherry,
everybody.
you can see this is not a small
Oh,
group.
yeah. No.
This is
Yeah.
giving the kids a chance to compete with and see what other kids around our state know and have advantage to do.
Right.
Okay, go on to the next one.
Oh, this one's my
My
favorite.
favorite.
Okay, this is my favorite. You get me. So, that was day 2 at Coca-Cola, and we got to do so many things. And this was the day I learned that I don't really want to go to pre-med anymore. Like, I love STEM, I love all this, but this, I went and I met so many people. I met the guy who does Vanna social media marketing, which brings in the bag. And then I met Simply Pop's marketing girl. And actually, I'm gonna get to go and job shadow her on Thursday because since I loved it so much, I got in touch with her and I was like, hey, can I come job shadow you? Like, I really enjoyed what you were talking about. I really loved your presentation, and this is something I can see myself doing in the future. And then she was like, yes, like, come on, like.
We were so excited.
And trust me, I went out and bought an outfit yesterday. I am stoked. Like, anyways, but yeah. And then I remember at Coca-Cola, I was just drinking everything because they have like vending machines there. It's all you can get for free.
Right,
Like,
right.
You know how much I have to pay for a Coke now? Like
Yeah.
$3.29.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was free, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is for me. Like
Yeah,
this is where I belong.
Yeah.
And you did another company, Invesco. Tell her about that one.
So when at Invesco, I learned all about crypto, all about bonds, all about stocks, drop shipping, like anything in that sort of range. So I learned how to do that, and I was like, well, that seems like really, really interesting because I also wanted to look into that for my future. And then, what else did I learn? Lots of life skills, credit cards. Ask me a question about credit cards, maybe I can answer it. But yeah, that's kind of like what we did there. And there is also like a really, really nice presentation that I learned how to not suck at money. That's literally what it calls, How to Not Suck at Money. And this presentation taught me everything I had to know, how to save, taught me the 50-20-30 rule, which is, I'm pretty sure, spend 50% on things.
Save. You're gonna.
Oh,
Well,
save.
your bills are 50, right?
Yeah.
You
Save
got to
50
pay those bills.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. Save 50%, spend 30% on things you want, and spend 20% on things you want.
That
Wait,
you're
did I say it
saving.
wrong?
That you're saving.
Yes.
So you got 50% that's going to go to your bills. If you're lucky, it's
If
just
you're
50.
lucky, yeah. If you're
it's
lucky.
just 50.
Forget it. Yeah. Not happening.
And then 30 is to spend on the extra things, like going out to eat. Most kids don't feel like that's a extra. They feel
Yeah.
like that's a
Oh, yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
But no, bills are a necessary thing. Other than that, it's an extra.
A credit card is the life's biggest lesson, because you start with like a $500 minimum, and then you learn to pay that every month, and you use it for everything, and you earn points if you can, but then you pay it every single month, and then now that credit card goes to a $7,000 balance, and all of a sudden you look and you think, oh, I have all this money. No, you don't. You're going to owe all this money with the interest, so you have to be so cautious. And that's one thing. I've given that speech a lot to kids and say, look, just because you have this, you have to keep the balance low, because it's really meant to build your credit score. That's all a credit card should be used for. Build your credit score, pay your bills with it, and monthly pay that sucker off. Do not have a balance on it. Do not have a
You
balance.
only spend
'Cause
what you know you can pay.
And you look at it and it goes, 29.75%, are you people crazy? And that's what your interest is on many credit cards. So the lesson is a balance of 0 every month. That's a big lesson. That's a hard one to learn too. That's
Now,
a hard
that
one.
same leadership summit, when she was at Mannheim Cox, she learned about robotics and how robotics were used for cars.
Have they made a robotic man that does everything that looks like Micah but does everything you tell him to do?
I'm still waiting on that.
Yeah.
So she wants to show you her robot today.
Yeah, show
That's
me
her,
your robot.
her STEM knowledge today.
Okay.
So, I got to build a robot. This is Teeny. Teeny is very, very fast. Actually, not really, but I have to turn her on. I named it Teeny because that's the name of my Snapchat AI, by the way. Let's hope you can see it. So I have to turn on my phone because it
She's
actually
smiling. That's so funny. Look, she has a smile.
That's the first thing I said when she showed me. So I was like, it has a smiley face on it.
Yeah, I love that.
But I got to build this, and let me tell
She's
you.
dancing. She has rhythm.
She's excited. She's excited.
I hear some salsa rhythm in there.
Let her spin a little bit while I explain. So basically, I had the roughest time out of all of my peers trying to build her. And when I tell you, like, I had the boy next to me helping me, and then I had, like, one of the volunteers, like, I was struggling so bad, and I actually learned maybe I'm not the biggest engineer in the world. But it definitely did teach me that, you know, like, I can't do anything. Like, if I can build a robot, like, what can I not do?
Yeah.
Well, and it teaches you, if you don't know how to do it, you find somebody to help.
Yeah, sure. Always
Nothing should
ask.
stop us.
Yeah.
So let me drive her a little bit.
Whee! There she goes. That is so cool.
This is like my puppy. He likes to jump on me too.
What are you doing? Hey.
She wants to see Micah. Oh, she wants to see Micah?
Yeah. That is so funny. That is so cool. That
Micah
is so
tracks
cool.
robots.
That is funny.
So do you see how going to these institutes, the advantages and the opportunities, and it's all a part of 21CL.
Yeah.
And your cost to go was $50, right?
Yeah.
$50
Yeah.
for
That's
that
amazing.
week of experience.
And
Yeah.
what certificate is it that you receive at the end of your course?
It's like a business certificate, just saying like you went and now you're certified businessy. I'm not really sure.
And speaking of robots, this week Sky's at the Health Institute, and she actually got to work the Da Vinci robot that does surgery.
Wow. Wow.
I wanna
How
do
cool is that?
That is
too cool.
That's so
yeah.
interesting, but that
Okay, come back
also
to
sounds
me.
scary to have like a robot do
Yeah.
like surgery on
I
you.
had 8 hours worth of robotic surgery done with 2 female surgeons. Male surgeons said it can't possibly be done. What did the females say? Oh yeah, we can. Oh yeah, we can.
Let us do it.
8 hours worth of robotic surgery, and my youngest surgeon was 38. So yeah,
Wow.
y'all can do it. You can handle it. Okay, now we're going to take a commercial break so we can come back, and then the girls who have been sitting very patiently in the back are going to tell it all. They're going to tell it all when we come back from a commercial.
Whether you're in the mood for chicken strips, a delicious burger, our classic banana split, or an upside-down thick blizzard treat, we've got you covered. Hot and fresh food every day, every time, and delicious DQ soft serve make the perfect pair at your favorite place. Not fast food, fan food fast. Your Blue Ridge, Ellijay, and Jasper Dairy Queens are your meet, eat, and treat headquarters.
Thank you for choosing DQ. How may I serve you?
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We can't play about our future or our finances. Make moves, set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up, stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things. This is pre-tirement.
See us anytime you can.
Whether you're swimming in the sea or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories, writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
We're back. You know that they're doing this science project because my worst grade in school ever was science and biology. I was not good at it at all. But now we have 2 young ladies. We got rid of Double Trouble, and we got Double Trouble sitting behind them. And now we've got the genius. The genius. Okay, we want to start with you. Tell us your name.
Hi, my name is Sofia Scott, and I'm the bug girl. I do entomology.
Bugs.
Sounds like you really look forward to talking about that.
Yeah, I love it. Let me tell you, as a kid who grew up in Florida, do you know what a palmetto bug is?
I think so.
A palmetto bug is like a cockroach on steroids. So, yeah, go to the beach and bring a few of those back to Georgia, and you will find they multiply so fast. So tell me what your project was about.
Well, I've worked on a couple of bugs over the past few years. I started off with the Asian longhorn tick and how it affected cattle farmers. I then went into the parasitoid wasps, which is like a huge group. And this year,
we have a mic problem.
This year I am doing the Asian needle ant. And it is a very important issue to talk about. I mean, a lot of people, well, bugs are gross. I don't want to talk about bugs, you know? But it's really an important issue that I think everyone needs to know about. They really do, especially because if you get bit by this Asian needle ant, you go, especially if you're allergic to bees or wasps, you could go into anaphylactic shock, which is a serious issue. And you know, I just want to raise awareness on that.
Are those bugs around all the time? Is it something that we are familiar with?
They were transported here somehow in about the 1930s. They've made their way down here to the southeastern United States, but specifically around this time, actually, July, August, it's really prevalent around now.
How do we identify them?
Well, you kind of can't. They're really small. They're about, I think, 3/16 of an inch long. They are very difficult to identify. And
now is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, that's an ugly little booger.
Certainly is.
Yeah. Wow. Now, what do you do with them? How do you kill them? What do you do with them? Do they serve any good purpose?
Well, I'm sure they do where they're originally from, but here, no, they're an invasive species. And they're not only harmful to the ecosystem, but like I mentioned, they're harmful to people as well. One of the identifying factors of them is a lot of ants, you know, you see an ant crawling around, they're in like a little line, right? They have, you know, their friend group with them, I guess.
They look like soldiers.
Yeah. These don't. They're very difficult to identify because of their size. They don't build mounds like normal ants do. They kind of, you know, stay underground, they stay hidden. They really like that kind of brush, rotten logs, and leaf debris, and, you know.
Now, have you got one in your possession?
Heavens, no.
Okay. I was going to ask you, does it make babies as fast as you see an ant hill? I remember I think 4-H or something, I did an ant experiment, and it was amazing to me how fast they worked, how hard they worked together. Do these ants work together, or are they just seek and destroy?
They are, from what I've seen, they're pretty individualistic ants. They kind of do their own thing.
Yeah, troublemakers.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah, troublemakers. And what's the other bug?
The Asian longhorn tick and parasitoid wasps.
And a tick, we know what damage they do to cattle.
My gosh, yes.
Yeah, and even getting one in your ear. I mean, you've seen kids that had all kinds of problems from that. Yeah.
The way I found out about that was I was at the office working on, this was a 4-H project originally. I was in the office and I was working on some sort of project board, and this guy came in. He was so upset because, you know, a cattle farmer, and he was talking to our extension agent, and I couldn't help but eavesdrop. But from what he said, he had a calf die overnight, and he found it dead, just covered in ticks, just this graphic image. And I was like, gosh, what is that? And so we found out Pickens County was actually the first place in Georgia to ever have this Asian longhorn tick, and I was here to witness it. So automatically I piqued my interest.
How do you do away with them? What do you do?
There are a lot of ways. Specifically for farmers, they don't really pose a threat to us as humans, unlike the needle ant. But for farmers, they're like these little, I'm not sure what they're called, these bath things. They spray them with the sort of insecticide thing that it's gentle on their skin, but it also helps coat them so they can't really attach themselves.
Wow, that's crazy. In Pickens County, Georgia.
Yep.
And its home place was where?
The Asian longhorn tick.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Somebody sent it over here in a container of something that was purchased over there, I bet you. Because you know how shipping back and forth, we put things on ships and we don't know what they're shipping to us.
Well, I talked to an entomologist at UGA, Dr. Nancy Hinkle, and according to her, she thinks her theory is that it was brought here by a deer or a bear or something.
Could be.
Certainly possible.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, what's your degree going to be in, and what are you going to be when you grow up, young lady?
Well, actually, entomology is really my passion, but I want to go into the military. I want to be in the Air Force.
Good job. Lackland Air Force Base in Texas.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's always been a passion.
Do you know
of
one of
mine.
the pilots who did the big drop on Saturday night was a female?
Really?
Did you know that?
I did not.
30-year run, complete success, a female. One of the
Certainly love to
pilots
see
was a
it.
female. Yeah, yeah, there you go. There's your job title. Okay, now, when you started doing these projects with the bugs, did you think you could make a difference in the world by just sharing that knowledge? Is that why you chose that?
Well, it certainly made a difference in my life, and I really do think so. I
Yeah.
think it's
A cattle farmer would be thanking you right now.
I have worked with a lot of farmers in the past. I did a little project on that. And I mean, it's not just farmers, it's everyone. Like I was talking about, people that can get serious reactions from these ant bites. And just in general, I think it's important to educate the public about these issues.
Sure it is. So the 3 bugs, and what was the other one, a wasp?
Oh gosh, parasitoid wasps. Those are my favorite. Gruesome little creatures.
And are they in Georgia?
They are. They're
Darn it.
pretty much everywhere. Oh
That's
gosh.
crazy.
They lay their eggs inside of say caterpillars and little things that live in trees, and they emerge and they break the skin, and they have a symbiotic relationship with the bacteria inside of them, and they mind control them. It's it's a rabbit hole, really.
Sounds like somebody I dated one time. Yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy.
It really is.
So that's cool. That is cool. You know, that's not what you
Certainly.
expect from some cute little girl who's just a high school kid, and then all of a sudden you're a genius.
I wouldn't
That's
be able to do
amazing.
it without Miss Traci and 21st Century Leaders. I'm so thankful for this opportunity.
Yeah, that is amazing. And you know, truly we do look at Traci as a miracle, because she's a medical miracle, but she's also, she could have gone home and just given up and sat down and crocheted, but she found, no, that's exactly not her, and she found y'all, and it's just, it's amazing to me. Okay, anything else from you?
Tell someone about bugs today. And
That's
thank
right.
a farmer.
That's right, yeah. And when we think about the farming, and we were talking about having a garden, you know, insects can eat your garden up. They can destroy your garden overnight. You can plant it, you can see it growing and healthy, and the next day you can see that something got into it and they destroy it. So it's important to keep up with those nasty little boogers, isn't it?
Yeah, my gosh.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
Thank
okay,
you.
now, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, is her mic working? Okay, guys, do we need handheld? Yeah, your mic's working.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
okay, there you go. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Now, introduce
So-
yourself.
I'm Reese Davis, and I was really excited to hear about how 21CL would be moving towards a STEM focus, because I love science, and particularly I love environmental science. And for another organization, 4-H, I did a speech on environmental science, and because I met with one of our commissioners and the head of the water department, Philip Dean, and they told me that our county is the only county in the entire state of Georgia that doesn't have any water supplies, like no man-made lakes, nothing. We don't have any reserves. We have to buy our water. Like nowhere else has to do that but here.
Yep.
And so it just like really, it piqued my interest, because water is something we need. Like you can't go 3 days without it. And that really just like, it changed my mind. Like it just really opened my eyes to the problem we have in our county, and no one even realizes it. And so with the help of the wonderful Miss Traci, I made a speech, and if you'd like, I'd do the intro to it. Okay.
Yes.
So this is the intro to my speech. Okay. The blue planet. Yes. Many people refer to this big, beautiful planet of ours as the blue planet, because the majority, approximately 71% of it, is covered with water. But we know that not all of this is available to use. Let's talk about that for a moment. I'm a visual learner, so I want to use one glass of water to represent all the water on Earth. 97% of this is salt-filled ocean water, with only 3% being fresh water.
Wow.
But
Wow.
what do those percentages really look like? Let's take out the 3%. Unfortunately, even this small amount is not all available to use because a majority, 80%, is frozen in ice and in glaciers. This is fresh water on Earth, so surely we can use it. But wait, we're not done yet. Not all non-frozen fresh water is available to use. It's either so deep underground we can't easily access it, or it's too polluted to use. So then, how much of this is actually available to use? Shockingly, the amount is so small, it's approximately a drop.
Oh no.
With so little available to use, surely we're careful with how we use it. I'm Reese from Pickens County, and I want to explore the concept of water scarcity here in the U.S., Georgia, and my home county of Pickens County, and what we can do to help in my presentation, Good to the Last Drop. That's it.
That is crazy. That is crazy. These mountains are full of streams and rivers, and why don't we get water from them?
So it actually costs more money to get the equipment and hire the people, the labor to get the water from that and to build the facilities and maintain the facility than it is to just buy our water. So it's cheaper to get the water from somewhere else, and they give us so much that we don't ever go over, and if we're just paying for the water, but if we were to have the facilities, it's going to cost millions of dollars. And I asked them, when I met with our commissioner and Philip Dean, I was like, why don't we just make a man-made lake here or something like that? Why don't we build something? And he told me that it would cost over like $8 million for a facility.
Well, Dawson County did. Have you ever been to Crystal Lake, it's not Crystal Falls, but anyway, it's the Dawson County Reservoir. And they talked about what it cost them. It's at the Cherokee-Dawson line. And the cost was a big deal.
Yeah,
We get most
of our water from Cherokee, so we're glad that they have a good, safe source. For a while, we had this source.
That doesn't seem real, does it?
No, a drop
That's
out of
crazy.
all of this.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had some groundwater for a while, but they pumped it in for weeks. They pumped it for, I think it was 2 weeks, I believe they said. I could be wrong. And all that came out was just mud, just dirt. They couldn't even filter that. It was.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, what about the cove? Did you talk to them about the water that comes out of the cove where the mines used to be? Because it's filled with water, and I've always wondered, why don't we access that water?
I think that's what they
tried to pump.
Yeah, what they tried to pump.
Because I know there have been some scuba divers that went in there and actually did not make it out.
Oh my gosh.
So
they're always doing crazy
now
stuff.
That there's mud, maybe that's why they didn't make it out,
Yeah.
That's nuts. Now, why did you choose this project? Just because you heard that we didn't have water?
So I love my community, and anything I can do to make a difference in it, I'm gonna try to do. But because I'm very environmentally, I love the environment, and I think that if we don't make change, then we will lose our planet. So I started, and I met with them because I wanted to know if there was any environmental issues in our community. And when they told me that, it just that was it. I don't know, there was if the Lord touched me, I don't know, but I just realized, I was like, this is it. This is what I need to do. And actually now I'm doing some research about forever chemicals that could be in our water. I don't know much on that now, so, but it's just even more of a problem now because our water is so limited, and this is all we got. This is literally all we have.
That's crazy. Do you know about the little pipe that runs out over on Cove Road where people go and get water? It's by the library?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I did a test because I came here to Ellijay and I got well water, and it was 100% pure, and it was amazing. And I went there, and people drink that every day. And if you could see what we found in that water. And I was like, I had to stand in line to fill my jug up because people were filling up 6, 8, 10 jugs at a time and putting it in the trunk of their car. And I was going, y'all need to test this water. Well, I did. Oh my gosh. All over Pickens County people are drinking that water, and it blew my mind. So you need to go by there, get you a jug and test it, and you will go, what were they thinking? what were they thinking? Maybe they were thinking that was their only source of water. Maybe their well went dry. Maybe that's because they liked it. But if you test it, you will be shocked at what's in it. And you can actually look down. That's what made me test it. I looked down and saw particles of things in it, and I said, don't think I'm drinking that. So, you know, but water is our greatest source. And Gilmer County's lucky because Gilmer County does, I'd love to take you to this well. It's the best water you ever put in your mouth, but it comes straight out of, it's really, really deep, really, really deep. And it's really clean, and it's really fresh, and it's really good. It's a shame that we don't have that everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a shame we don't have it everywhere.
It's really, we really take for granted how much water we have, especially here, like the United States. But like indoor plumbing, like that's a waste of fresh water, you know. But, yeah.
Are you telling us we should go back to outhouses?
No, I think that we can.
Have you ever used an outhouse at a country Baptist church?
No. I think I'll take your word for it. I think I actually went to Greece, and in Greece the water, they don't use drinking water like fresh water in their toilets or any of their plumbing. So like when I went, they were very careful. They told me to be careful. They're like, do not drink out of the sink when you're in the shower. Like, don't drink the water because there's chemicals in the water, and it's also dirty. Like you could get, like, I'm sure some kind of disease from it. So I just think if we use water that's not drinkable, I think it would be more of a safe.
Yeah, and you couldn't use salt water because it would corrode all the pipes.
Yes,
so there you go. Is it that hard to transfer the salt from the water and use all the ocean water? Is it that hard?
Okay, so I don't know for sure about that process. I've never actually looked into that. That's definitely something.
Yeah, wouldn't you think that would be a simple solution?
Yeah, well, I mean, the water in Florida always tastes like salt water.
Yeah, and sulfur. Because I lived in Orlando, and we would turn on the spigot, and it was like sulfur coming out. It was terrible.
I'm sure maybe some of their waters, they filtered. And
okay,
so.
I'm going to throw a new project out for you. You love Pickens County.
Yes.
And you love the environment.
Yes.
Do your research on how many people in Pickens County got cancer and see if it's environmentally possible that the mines and the marble have caused this.
I believe that's actually probably true, but I know
so many people,
Yeah.
And it's every single family has been touched. And when you do the research and you trace it back, Granddaddy worked at the mines, Mama worked at the mines, Uncle Joe worked at the mines.
Yeah.
His child had a problem. That's a problem.
They didn't regulate back then about like safety. It wasn't a precaution. But like I was saying about the forever chemicals, there was a carpet company that dumped its runoff into a water source, and it got into the well water and up into our county. It's other places too, but up into our county. There's a lawsuit, and so anyone who has a property,
I remember Aaron Brockovich is working on it.
Yes, and Miss Traci, I love her.
Yes.
She's gonna get some money soon because her house is one of the ones that got affected.
Wow.
And so when she told me about that, it went right with this, and I was like, and she told me like you should do something with this. And I was like, you're right, Miss Traci.
Oh yeah.
I was like, you're totally in. So that is a big thing because a lot of people got cancer from that. It's just.
And we need people like you who care about the environment, want to protect it. I'm not a tree hugger, but I'm a tree lover, and I love to walk out in the woods and see natural magnolias that are just tiny, that a seed was dropped from a bird, and you can dig that magnolia up and take it home with you and move it anywhere you want to. It's all about protecting what we have without going crazy and making our life nuts, you know. And I think that this is about the greatest example I've ever seen, or where we're wasting. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That is crazy. Now, how did you scientifically make this happen? What research did you do?
So back whenever I did this project, I did a certification called Project Wet. So I'm a wildlife ambassador, and as part of that, you can become Project Wild certified, and so they have another certification called Project Wet. And through Project Wet, this is one of the demonstrations. They show
crazy.
this. Yeah, it's like you sit through. It's a class. I had to. Teachers have to take it to teach about water and stuff like that. They can take it. And I sat through as an online class, and like I watched all the videos, and this is one of the things they did.
And it doesn't seem real.
No, it genuinely doesn't.
Yeah, you're like, really? No, but it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, challenge to you is to go get some water from that pipe coming off Cove Road and test it.
Test it.
Challenge to you is to solve the problem with these nasty bugs. And the challenge to you is get your real estate license so you can work for me part-time. And the challenge to you is for you to operate your own company and have a lot of men working for you. Girls rock. Girls rock, yeah. You know, it's so good to see the kids your age who really do care about our environment and who really do care about our world. And when we look around, there's so many people who, you know, I could give you example after example, who don't pay attention to anything except themselves. And I'm going to throw this out there. I really believe this. The video gaming industry destroyed teen minds. Because you have so many people who don't relate to anything if it's not, and they're doing this, you know. And I've seen it with teen boys from 13 to 15. They get addicted to things like that. They should be addicted to science. They should be addicted to bugs. Boys should get out and be digging in the dirt and learning a little something. But video games, and so as a challenge to y'all, find something that teenagers can do that makes the world better instead of sitting in front of a dadgum video game. Because video games drive me crazy. You know, you can see a kid who can't even go in a restaurant and order his own food because it's not on a video screen. He doesn't know what he's doing. And that's sad that we let that generation of 13 to 15-year-old boys and girls, some girls play games, but it really, we slacked up on letting our kids just sit there and do that all the time. We should have had them out digging in the dirt. Charles should have had them out there planting collards and turnips, and you know, that's what we do. We need to teach them about our environment, and y'all should have a garden, because there's nothing as wonderful as waking up and you're picking your own vegetables and you're eating something that you know you produced and you kept the ants out of it. Now, is there a certain poison to poison those ants?
Well, I kind of advised against the usage of pesticides, but that's where parasitoid wasps come in. There are hundreds and tens of thousands of parasitoid wasps, and I'm sure one of them takes care of these Asian needle ants. Wow.
Well, it's crazy because we don't think about it. And when you look at an ant hill, I mean, ants can kill you. I have a kid who got stung really, really bad, and his lips were swelling, he couldn't breathe anymore. I mean, ants are dangerous. They're dangerous by themselves, but when they get that little troublemaker in there, oh my.
Yeah, you just have to do your best to stay aware of, yourself and carry an EpiPen with you.
Now, should everybody have an EpiPen? Because that is one of those things, or if you're not allergic, are you okay? If I got stung because I'm not allergic, would I be okay?
Well, I think I'm not really, medicine really isn't my thing. And I know EpiPens have certainly gotten more expensive in the past few years, despite being a life-saving device. But I mean, if you have access to it, I think it might be smart.
Might not hurt to have one.
Can I speak on this?
Yes.
I wouldn't advise everybody to use an EpiPen from
You got a mic.
Nope.
Yep.
Sorry.
I would say I wouldn't advise everybody to have an EpiPen on them, especially if one is not prescribed to you. But there has been cases in which I've studied and discovered that some people have had stings, have been stung, and such that have been so bad that they've had to use an EpiPen of what I've read recently. But what I would say is I wouldn't advise everybody to use an EpiPen, and just in case, because one, you never know, it could be bad on your part. Because we were also taught about this at ambassador training and former workshops that we were at with 4-H. They've taught us about the usage of EpiPens, where to use them, CPR. Most of us, I'm pretty sure almost all of us have been CPR certified many times. So I wouldn't advise everybody use an EpiPen, just to put that out there. So I would say, for example,
if your doctor says to.
If your doctor says to.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, just had to advise
That's
that really
okay.
quickly.
That's all right. That's from our little genius. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here today. The hour's gone. It's time for us to leave here. It's time.
Thank you for having us.
Tell kids if they want to get involved how important it is to try to excel and to be your best.
That's what this is about. That's what 21CL is really about, is leading others, especially people our age, and getting them involved in the community and getting them to look up from their screens.
That's right. Thank you. Yeah.
And if I were to recommend anything that came out of 21st century, is get involved. Like, this is all, I like this club so much to the point where
I'm never going to leave. You're always going to see me here.
There you go.
I'll always
So
be
when
here.
she graduates, she'll then be Miss Tracy's.
Predecessor.
Yeah, she'll take over when you retire.
protege.
There you go.
I'll be 100 and I'll still be here. Like, I feel it in my bones.
There you go. Thanks for being here, everybody. It's time for us to get out of here. Please check us out. You know we'll be on YouTube within an hour. Check us out. Share the good news, share the bad news, share the prayers, and please continue to pray for our family as Brian's service is tomorrow in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I'll see you again soon. Bye, y'all.